Yesterday, breaking news: Steve Bannon and a few of his accomplices were charged with wire fraud and other crimes having to do with stealing the money that was donated to a charity fund to build the wall. Now, look, he's a grifter. I don't think it's a massive surprise to people that this was an incompetently run organization. The idea that they were like blatantly stealing the money to buy boats and things was a little bit surprising. We showed you the boat, the Warfighter. What is really surprising though, is that Steve Bannon actually admitted to all of it on video. Take a look.
Stephen K. Bannon and Brian Colfage.
Welcome back. This is Stephen K. Bannon. We're off the coast of Saint-Tropez in southern France in the Mediterranean. We're on the $1 million yacht of Brian Colfage. And Brian Colfage, he took all that money from Build the Wall. No, we're actually in Sunland Park, New Mexico.
What? He just said what they were doing. He said it. And he said it exactly what they were doing. Why would you do that, you arrogant bastard?
I just didn't see this. That's amazing.
You hadn't seen that?
I hadn't seen that.
Colfage looked quite uncomfortable as Steve Bannon was telling that joke. Yeah, no, we stole the money. Colfage was in on it. He bought a boat with it, and now we're living the good life. But that's what you did. You just tweeted it, you fool. You tweeted it.
That's so insane. It's so strange though, like there's two, I don't know if there's two groups, but there's this I mean, I'm gonna sound like everybody who's been a socialist forever. But like there is this fetishization of the grift and the scam in the essence of capitalist free enterprise. And it's the good work if you can get it. Like, what are you doing? What if you're giving money to this organization? There are theoretically two things you value. One, unbridled capitalism, because you're voting for Donald Trump. The greed is good, Gordon Gekko candidate. Let's just do it. Screw the government. And two, you hate like brown people, right? That's it. They're the problem. I'm not sure why. Something about jobs that I'm not doing, but yeah, it's them that are the problem. And you gave money and both things happened. But the truth is, the people like Bannon and Colfage and Trump, they all view, well, maybe not even Colfage, he's just like, sure, I'll take it if I can get it. But they all view you the same way they view Mexican people and Salvadoran and people in caravans trying to find a better life in America, so to speak. They just view you as puppets and people to line their pockets. Yeah. So it's weird that there's no difference in the way they think of you and the people you hate. You know, they're both but they're just using you. And I wonder, again, like similar to the last thing we talked about, like I wonder if when they discover that they got used, if it'll change anything for them. Because they're like, I don't know.
It doesn't seem like they didn't mind that Trump was scamming them with his university and all that stuff. They really don't seem to mind being scammed. And so what do you know? Their politicians and their media commentators are all grifters.
All right, so there's one problem with that, both with the line of arguments we've just been making, is the out that they've given themselves. When all else fails, which is deep state.
Yeah, and they'll say that about Bannon, sure. That he was, but Trump is the one doing some of the scams.
But they were no. They aren't scams, John. These aren't scams. Every bit of the news reporting on this, is it anyone? And they framed it all as conspiracy theories when as conspiracies when actually it's just how things should work. Like Ron Johnson during his when he's not yelling the F word over and over again because he can't get his connection to work. Ron Johnson said, it's so crazy. These Democrats have been trying to get mail-in voting to happen since April. It's almost too coordinated. And people are calling in with almost scripted attacks. It's like, you mean activism? You mean having a plan? Are those concepts so foreign to you that you just want to paint them as like crazy ideas that are a little too perfect to work? Well, no, it's because decent practical actions are the enemies of the impractical, dogmatic, random ass dictator who's trying to get people to discredit reason.
Yeah,
and that's what's happening.
Yeah. Okay, a couple other aspects of the story though. One is I just saw this on Twitter and I thought, you being who you are, I'd run it past you. So they had a scam that they were going to get a bunch of money by pretending to build a wall on the border with Mexico. And then they were so committed to the scam that they ended up getting arrested on a boat. Does that remind you of anything?
Yes, I've made a huge mistake. I saw that and I was like, he got arrested on a boat. Were there like pirates?
Freedom.
The answer is Arrested Development.
100%.
I said it like 3 or 4 times, like George Bluth getting arrested.
It's the same plot. Even the admitting it, like accidentally. Imagine what he must have said to Bannon when the cameras went off. Anyway, so that's true. Unfortunately, it gets even more twisted in this because despite the fact that Trump and his spokespeople like Kayleigh McEnany are trying to be like, no, we don't know anything about this. Over a year ago, the Pentagon Inspector General began looking into a suspicious $400 million contract given from the Department of Homeland Security to the construction company linked to Bannon's group. The funds came at Senator Kevin Cramer and Trump's urging.
This is Fisher.
What's that?
Fisher.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And that's way more money than what we had talked about specifically for Bannon to be stealing. And the weird thing is that Trump supposedly has hated Bannon for far longer than that period, but it is there. And we gave you a preview of some of the Trump family attachments to this organization. Well, we have video evidence of one of them. Take a look.
This is private enterprise at its finest, doing it better, faster, cheaper than anything else. And what you guys are doing is pretty amazing. It started from a grassroots effort, and it's just doing some wonderful things for an important issue.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, whether he knew that what they were doing was what they were doing or not, that is what they think private enterprise is supposed to do ideally. Like, they got rich off of it. They did it better, faster, stronger, all that Kanye stuff. And it seemed to work for them, briefly.
Yeah. Daft.
Anyway,
they put the Daft in Daft Punk.
Exactly. Yeah, I wonder, did Junior get paid for that? I guess it probably wouldn't matter even if he did.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter because this is
He'd have to
everything.
know.
Everything is a government-sponsored investment in the future of the Trump organization, which just puts its name on stuff and makes money, and it just puts its name on the White House and makes more money off of it. When they have to actually run a business, when they actually have to like make sure that vendors get paid for stuff, they don't do it and they get bailed out because they've never had to suffer a consequence in their lives. And we need to change that November 3rd.
Exactly. Hopefully. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.